Hey Nintendo fans, it's TheJWittz here, and E3 2014 has begun for Nintendo, kicking off their Nintendo Direct event. I figured I'd cover the Nintendo Direct event, either if you weren't able to watch the full thing and just want the important bits brought into a smaller video, or if you just want to hear some of my opinions. So let's check it out. There was a ton of news. The event itself was pretty genuine and funny. They had a lot of in-jokes for classic Nintendo things, they even had the Luigi death stare, and they had adult chicken skits with classic Nintendo characters. What really made me lose it though was the one-on-one duel between Iwata and Reggie. It was epic, and it also shoehorned in the announcement for the Mii character for the upcoming Smash Bros. Games. Now I know what you're thinking, Mii and Smash Bros? That seems really boring. Why would they waste a character slot like that? But in general, I think they're doing some fun things with it. Not only can you be any Mii in the world, they showed Elijah Wood, even Ice-T as characters that you can play in the upcoming Smash Bros. Game. Literally, you can make anyone. But there are several different things you can do to customize your Mii, including custom special attacks, and 3 different choices for either fists, a gun, or a sword. The 3DS title was also given a release date, finally coming to us in October. There's also another Smash Bros. Character, Palutena, the goddess from the Kid Icarus series, shown in a very entertaining anime-style cutscene. I'm excited to have Palutena and her magic attacks on board, but I'm actually surprised by this. There was a supposed leak of Palutena many months ago. It was ignored after she wasn't announced after several different events. However, seeing as she's in the game, I'm curious how many old leaks were actually legitimate, or if someone actually made a leak for Palutena and then it ended up being real. Either way, more characters means a better game. There was also the reveal of Nintendo's new Nfc Figures, now called Amiibo. Similar to Skylanders or Disney Infinity, these figures carry a chip that allows them to export data to different games, and with an adapter, it'll also be able to communicate with the 3DS. These figures didn't seem to be adding that much to the Smash Bros. Game when they showed it on display. It seemed like you could create a custom AI character that can either battle your friends or challenge yourself, but the potential's definitely there. There were a handful of new announcements for Mario, the biggest being the upcoming Mario Maker game. This game seems like Mario Paint mixed with Super Mario, mixed with Little Big Planet, which allows you to customize your own courses and play through them or share them with your friends. There seem to be a ton of options for customization, including changing the size, fidelity, making special 1-up mushrooms that make Mario really skinny. Honestly, there's a lot to learn about this game, and I'm very interested to hear more. You can even swap the graphics from the new Super Mario Bros. HD look to the classic 8-bit. Also, for the first time in the Mario universe, Toad of all people is getting his own game. In Captain Toad, you navigate him through different puzzle-type levels, using a whole lot of Wii U gamepad interaction, very similar to the Super Mario Bros. 3D World minigames that you did with Toad to earn a star. There were also 2 announced Wii U games based on various forms of media. First was a Yarn Yoshi's game called Yoshi's Woolly World, which in my opinion was the most beautiful of this year's E3 2014. It's so colorful, and just look at that yarn, it looks real! The game itself seems designed around the fact that Yoshi doesn't have a time limit on its levels, so there's a lot of exploration, and there's 2-player co-op. Kirby's also getting a game based around a clay visual that seems just like Kirby's Canvas Curse, where you use a stylus to draw Kirby trails instead of just moving around normally. While I know Kirby's Canvas Curse isn't the most popular, I find it to be highly underrated and one of the best in the Kirby series. This new Wii U game, the Rainbow Curse, is seeming to take that gameplay to the next level. There's also a new IP announcement, a cooperative multiplayer game that involves using paint to cover an arena, called Splatoon. The premise of Splatoon is covering as much of an area as you can with a specific color, and the more you cover, the more strategic options you can make, such as warping to other places where you've left paint, or turning into a squid to swim very quickly over it. There are a ton of items, ways to strategize against your opponents, and a ton of beautiful HD color that made this game really stand out for me. In terms of third-party games, Nintendo had 2 big games coming up for the Wii U, the first being Bayonetta 2. Now, aside from being the sleek, sexy, graphical fighter that you guys have known from the classic Bayonetta games, it seems Bayonetta 2 will not only be coming with special Nintendo costumes, such as Link's or Samus's, but it'll also come with the entire first Bayonetta game. This seems like a really good value for someone who really enjoyed the first Bayonetta game, and I can't wait to have it on my Wii U. Xenoblade Chronicles developer Monolith finally revealed their title for their upcoming project, X. It's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Basically think Xenoblade Chronicles, but set in space with crazy mechs and a whole lot of drama, and you've got yourself one RPG that I'm heavily interested in. And finally, the franchise you've all been waiting for, we did finally get an exclusive Wii U Zelda Look. That said, we don't know much about the game. It's still a generic Legend of Zelda title to be released in 2015, but what we did see definitely intrigued me. This Zelda game is open-ended. You can travel in any direction and solve things in any order that you like. Think Skyrim meets Zelda, and that is a very good thought to have. We got just a brief look at some action gameplay with a crazy laser-spewing enemy chasing our horse-riding Link, but when he revealed himself, he wasn't wearing the classic Kokiri uniform. This Link was blue. Now, I don't know anything about this game. They only give us that tiny teaser, but they do have me interested, and they need to tell me more very soon. And finally, the other Zelda game, Hyrule Warriors, which was released to be coming out in September. Hyrule Warriors is supposed to have a ton of characters, which means for the first time you can play as not only the already announced Impa, but even Midna and Zelda herself. Now, I know that this game is probably just going to be a reskin of the Dynasty Warriors franchise, but being able to play some of these characters for the first time ever is a fanboy's dream. The gameplay looks crisp, flashy, and technical, just like what you'd expect from a classic Dynasty Warriors game. They said there were a lot of characters, so far we know just 4 of them, so I gotta know, who else is on the list? That's it for this year's E3 Nintendo Direct 2014. Now, Nintendo is bringing out a lot more information over the course of the event, and I'll definitely be back to report on that. For example, through the Nintendo Treehouse event, they've already talked about Mario Party 10 starring Bowser, a new game from Level 5 Studios, and it has been leaked that there is a Star Fox game that Miyamoto is working on that's supposed to be first person and coming out for the Wii U. I was shocked that we didn't see any information from that, but it is definitely real, and once we get more info, I will share with you guys. Overall, I was surprised that this was such a Wii U-focused event. The 3DS is Nintendo's major seller, but they only talked about it 1 or 2 times. The one time being Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which, while it did show very pretty footage of the upcoming Ruby and Sapphire remake games, just showed us information that we had just learned in the CoroCoro leaks. That's all for this Nintendo Direct recap. As always, you can click this button right here to subscribe to my channel and get alerts when my new videos are coming out. And if you want to see more information from E3, I highly suggest you do. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, but this is just the beginning of this year's E3 2014 coverage for all things Nintendo. I'm hoping to bring you guys things like interviews and in-game playthroughs, and I'm hoping it's going to be a great E3. See you guys in the next E3 video.